Hello dear learners, I welcome you all to the module entitled Government's Initiative for Skill Development Courses of the online course Skill Development of the Youth and Their Livelihood. Now the primary objective of this module is mainly number one, to discuss the role played by the tool rooms and training centers, institutions for MSMEs in India, to identify the different tool room and training centers in India, to have some idea on the different types of courses and programs run under them. Now this is something very interesting. The Government of India established the tool room and training centers to cater to the tooling and training needs of the industries. Now if you look at different industries which are there, these industries have a lot of requirement. One is at one end you have the large industries. They also, as they keep on developing products, they need to have different tools and equipments are required. And similarly, a small enterprise, if you want to start a small business, which is basically a manufacturing business, which is in the manufacturing sector, so you would require a lot of tools and equipments. You need to experiment, you need to develop a product, etc. So to basically cater to that need, the Government of India has set up a large number of tool rooms and training centers with the primary objective of helping the MSME sector. So with the objective to help the MSME sector, Indian industry, by way of precision tooling and providing skilled manpower, the government have established tool rooms and training centers in different regions. If you look across the country, we will find that countries like Aurangabad, Ahmedabad, Bhubaneswar, Guwahati, Hyderabad, you name it, you will find tool rooms in different, I don't know whether we've been ever aware of these tool rooms, but they provide invaluable service in terms of international quality tools. They have trained people. They also provide consulting in as to how to develop a product, how to use the tools, what type of new tools are required, and they are constantly crossing new frontiers in the quest of excellence and beyond. So a lot of work which an entrepreneur has to do is being done by the tool room and these training centers. So it is for entrepreneurs existing, aspiring, to understand the value of these services being provided by these tool rooms and training centers, and basically they are there to facilitate enterprise creation. So anything to do with in the engineering sector, including skilling, including enterprise promotion, the tool rooms are helping these entrepreneurs. So they offer services like they conduct surveys, and if you look at, for example, if you look at any tool room center which is there, they are under Ministry of MSME, which is the Ministry of MSME has a their commission, which is the Office of Development Commissioner MSME, Office of DC MSME. So under the DC MSME you have these two institutions. One is the DIMSME, the Directorate of Industries, Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises, and the other are the tool rooms. Now these tool rooms, what they do, what are the services that they give? They conduct surveys and studies to identify the tooling and related skill requirements. So one is that they help in developing tools, they help people use the tools, and they also help to skill people in the centers. They also provide turnkey assistance to set up tool room and training centers. So you are setting up a training center, you can take help of the tool room facilities to help you on a turnkey basis. They will help you. They provide consultancy to existing engineering industries for upgrading their production facilities. Suppose I am manufacturing something, a steel fabrication unit. Now I want to graduate, I want to get into modular furniture making. Now how do I go about it? One way is to buy machines which are available. The other way is to improvise on some tools and machines which are there. If I want to go and improvise, then it's the tool room through which I can do it. Then they also provide specialized tailor-made training courses for identifying the needs. That's it. Let's look at different tool rooms and training centers across India. And many of these tool rooms have their own specialization also. The Government of India has established various tool rooms and training centers to support entrepreneurs, as I have already mentioned. Let's talk about a central tool room and training center which is in Bhubaneswar. So one, we have a specialized tool room center in Bhubaneswar, which provides training, production, design and consultancy centers established under a technical cooperation program between Government of India and the Government of Denmark. So, depending on which area that tool room is specializing, the Government of India has tied up with different governments across the world. So a tool room in Bhubaneswar is tied up with the Government of Denmark, and they are giving specific services through that center. So there again, their basic objective remains the same: short-term, long-term courses. They provide consulting for tooling, etc. And then the center also strives to design and manufacture molds, tools, dies, jigs, fixtures, etc. for any industry that you require. Many a time, if you have to create your own mold, it becomes a very costly proposition. So what one can do is, the tool rooms have molds already. So you have an industry, you can just go to the tool room, the mold is there, you can start having your production from there. So part of your production can happen from the basic, some of the items can happen from the tool room itself. So that's the facility being created by the Government of India. Then there is a very interesting tool room, which is the Indo-Danish Tool Room, IDTR, which is in Jamshedpur. What does it do? Indo-Danish Tool Room Jamshedpur is a Government of India society. So under that, what they do is that they have a bilateral agreement with the Government of Denmark. So there again, they are giving short-term, long-term courses. They give consultancy services. So anyone can go there and start designing their products. They can help for casting, tooling, plastic. They have a lot of plastic molds, etc. They are more suitable for the automobile and the engineering sector. Different tool rooms have different, specializations. So here, this one has more specialization for automobile and engineering. So supposing I'm an entrepreneur, I'm into the automobile and engineering sector. So this is the tool room where I can look at taking support from. So it's like a common, infrastructure, common facility center basically for entrepreneurs. If you look at a tool room, it's basically a common facility center for entrepreneurs. So there is a central tool room and training center in Kolkata. So here, that's again for the MSME sector, and the cooperation program again is between the Government of India and Denmark. So similar facilities. Basically you have they also have they sort of benchmark on the best manufacturing practices. They help you to do virtual manufacturing, direct digital manufacturing, and so on. So these facilities, you can have a trial run in your tool room center. They have the infrastructure in terms of they also run courses in terms of CAD, CAM, and then there are certain ways in which how to handle machines. So these are also aspects which are both mechanical as well as non-mechanical support is, technical as well as non-technical support is given. There is also a tool room and training center in Guwahati. This tool room and training center in Guwahati was established by the Government of India to cater basically to the industries of North India. So most of the tool rooms, when they are set up in a particular state, they look into what are the type of industries which that state has, or which the state has potential. Accordingly, the tool room tries to cater to the industry needs of that particular state. So here we have one in Amingaon in Guwahati. So they through the tool room, they impart long-term, short-term programs. They have quality manufacturing. They develop production facilities for molds, jigs, fixtures. So they also train up people, consulting to the MSMEs. A lot of MSMEs do take support from the tool room center in Guwahati. There is also Indo-German tool room in Aurangabad, another very prominent tool room. So basically, similar activities, but basically people for the people of Aurangabad, I'm not repeat a lot of things which all the tool rooms do are similar. Only thing, the sectors and the areas are different. So here what they do is, the objectives are primarily to design and manufacture quality press tools, die, cast, molds, jigs, fixtures, etc. They also have things like, they also do career-oriented programs in CAD, CAM, tool design, general engineering. So, it's not necessarily any ITI graduate next goes to a tool room for value addition. He or she acquires a diploma, another certificate. So that adds to the CV, and then his or her employability also goes up. So there are two ways in which tool rooms benefit. One is that an entrepreneur uses the facilities in the tool room. The other is that people get trained in the tool room because the infrastructure is there, and through that they also get employed. There's another Indo-German tool room in Indore. Similar, only thing is that these are almost similar, but then they are in different parts of the country. There is a Indo-German tool room also in Ahmedabad, and the specialization is again for die making and cast making. So that's their specialization. Then we have the Central Institute of Hand Tools in Jalandhar. So if you look at, basically the entire country has been covered through various tool rooms. So these tool rooms are more or less catering to that particular region. Sometimes it is to a particular state, sometimes it is to the nearby states also. Then we have the Central Institute of Tool Design in Hyderabad. Now this Hyderabad tool room was established way back in 1968 by the Government of India with the assistance of UNDP and ILO. It is a pioneering institution in the field of tool engineering in the country. So someone wants more support. So these are institutions which have evolved over the years. So that is the support which an entrepreneur or an industry can start taking in. There is also an Institute of Design and Electrical Measuring Instruments in Mumbai. IDEMI is an organization established by the Government of India in the year 1968 as a service to industry organization. So basically industries are there. So whatever services an industry requires, these institutions are providing that service. So that's a huge support being given by the Ministry of MSME to support industry, because end of the day, if we look at employment creation, employment generation, it happens when the ecosystem is there, and the ecosystem happens not only by different programs which are there, not only by way of credit facility, but also by giving infrastructure facility. The infrastructure facility cannot be given to one person. So here a common facility is created for entrepreneurs to take advantage. Similarly, we have Process and Product Development Center in Agra. Now here, what is the Process and Product Development Center in Agra was set up with the assistance of UNDP and UNIDO. It was set up by the government of UP to support MSME across the country with special focus on foundry, forging, engineering clusters. A lot of foundry and forging clusters are there, particularly in that belt. So this institution or this center was set up primarily to help foundry and forging engineering clusters. Then we have another specialized institution, which is the Fragrance and Flavor Development Center. Now what is this? It's in Kannauj, a very interesting center. Many people are also not aware, and it's particularly for people from Northeast, Uttarakhand, etc. It's for them to take advantage of this center. The Fragrance and Flavor Development Center has been set up in 1991 by the Government of India with the assistance of UNDP, UNIDO and the Government of Uttar Pradesh. What is the objective? Objective is to serve, sustain and upgrade the status of farmers and industry engaged in aromatic cultivation and its processing so as to make them competitive both globally and locally. We all know about aromatic plants which are there everywhere. In various hill states, particularly in Northeast, etc. There are a lot of agro-based, we have the medicinal plants, and there can flowers. So this institution basically helps you to identify the value, how to process. So entire technical support is given by this institution. Then again, we talked about fragrance and flavor. Then there are centers for development of glass industry. Now this Center for Development of Glass Industry was set up in Firozabad. So if you come across, you'll find that these centers are basically placed in places where there is already an industry or there is potential in that particular locality. So Firozabad in India, it was set up in 1992. It's a joint venture between Government of India, State of Uttar Pradesh, United Nations and UNDP and UNIDO. So here again, the objective to efficiently use the energy and mineral resources, creation of new job opportunities. The basic objectives are the same, but the sectors are different. Another center which is there is a Central Footwear Training Institute. When it comes to footwear, we often talk about Agra, because I'm sure most of us have gone to Agra. Whenever we go to Agra, the thing which strikes us is the footwear. Footwear industry is very, very strong in Agra. So there's a Central Footwear Training Institute in Agra itself, where they give you all the not only technology, the training, the designing, manufacturing, everything is available in that from that center. There's also a Central Footwear Training Institute in Chennai, similar institution, that's more for specializing in leather, etc. Then another center that we have is a Process cum Product Development Center in Meerut. Now this is specifically for what? For sports goods. This is again a non-profit organization which is more for indigenous sports goods and making available adequate and appropriate technology. So one wants to get into sportswear, sports equipments, etc. Then this is the institution which helps one to, in terms of technology, in terms of consulting, in terms of access to information. So we have a specialized institution for that also. We also have a another central tool room in Ludhiana. Ludhiana is again, it's a general more for, we have a lot of industry in that belt. This has a network, this has a understanding with the government of Germany. So there are basically areas of tooling, then development of rapid prototyping, heat treatment, training, etc. Because there are a lot of industry, Indian-made industry in that belt of Punjab and Delhi and Haryana. So that is why the center has been put up there. So along with this support, there are also institutions like the Indian Institute of Entrepreneurship, and that was earlier under Ministry of MSME. Of course, now it is under Ministry of Skill and Entrepreneurship. So similarly, like the Indian Institute of Entrepreneurship, we have the National Institute of Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises, NIMSME. Now here, one is that you are getting technical support from these tool rooms. But how to set up a business, how to start your business, how to manage your business. Basically, a one-stop shop for entrepreneurs is what institutions like NIMSME provides. So there you have certified modules, you have programs for aspiring entrepreneurs, existing entrepreneurs, where you have programs in different functional areas of management. And so any entrepreneur wanting any information, a database, help for networking, startups wanting to start their business, enterprises wanting to go on a cluster mode, so executive development programs. So that is where the organizations like NIMSME plays a very important role, and where it's not only about entrepreneurship and skill development, but then micro entrepreneur program. There's programs on clean technology, GST, people wanting information on intellectual property right, GST. If there are schools and institutions, colleges, they want to do a faculty development program. So these institutions run faculty development program primarily to promote entrepreneurship. Then there are also segments like the international trade and logistics, corporate social responsibility, cluster development, total quality management. Now these are support provided by training institutions like the NIMSME, which is primarily under the Ministry of MSME, and they, apart from the tool room, you have the NIMSME providing all one-stop shop to it's like a one-stop shop to the micro and small enterprises. So these are basically the support available through various centers under the Ministry of MSME. A great support for entrepreneurs. support is available. It's one that, you know, how you look at it, how you one accesses this. So that's for number one, to understand, and number two, to also be able to capitalize on what is available through various government initiatives. So with that, now we come to the end of this module, and I'm sure you had sufficient information about various tool rooms and skill training centers across India, and the main objectives and the different types of courses run by them. So see you then till the next module. Thank you.